Hey y'all, this is Amanda and welcome back to my Texas Zone 8A garden, and today we're going to be planting up 3 new vines in my garden and adding drips to the pots that they're going to be in. Okay, so if you saw some of my recent videos, you know that I scored a whole bunch of beautiful pots from an estate sale. This one right here, it's kind of a color that I don't love, but I'm going to leave it for now and live with it. I didn't want to paint it right away and then change my mind about it later. And then these guys up here are those Christmas ornaments. They typically have like a metal top and they're wrapped in lights. They're Christmas ornaments for Christmas outside decor that I found on the side of the road for free. So I stripped all the lights off, stripped all the top part that had like the ornament portion of it, and painted them all, and I'm really happy with how they have turned out. So what we're going to be doing today is I've got 2 of these pots. I have them each are in a group of 3. The other one is that direction. We're going to be planting 2 vines, one in each of the pots, and then we're going to be planting hyacinth bean, hyacinth bean, ruby moon seeds today as well. So what we're going to do today is get the drip run up to this pot first, and then I'm going to talk to you about the vine that's going in here and we'll get it planted. Okay, so I want drip to these pots because I'm notorious for forgetting to water my potted plants. So drip helps a lot. So I have drip that I ran across the whole back portion of the yard back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off of this guy right here, and I'm going to run a 1/4 inch solid tubing all the way over, go underneath the container and up through the top. To do that, here's the equipment I'm going to need. I need my punch, and basically this punches a hole right there. See, it punches a hole into that tubing right there. I also have a straight line barb. I'm going to need a couple of those. I've got my 1/4 inch tubing that has no emitters. Then I've got my 1/4 inch tubing that does have some emitters, and I have a plug for the end. And then I have a couple of landscape staples to pin the entire thing down. So let's go ahead and get that knocked out. It's super easy. Once you have drip installed, it is amazing what you're able to do with it. It's coming soon. Okay, so I'm going to start with my 1/4 inch tubing, and I'm going to put barb on the end of it, a straight line barb. Just like that. All right, now I'm going to punch a hole in there, and I'm going to stick this barb into it. Okay, so now I'm just running the tubing this direction. It'll end up getting put down on the ground, but I do want to have a little bit of give with it. And this pot has a hole at the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and feed the tubing up through it. I'd rather have too much than not enough. Let me see if I can untwist it a little bit. There we go. All right, set that into place. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and pin it with landscape staples. Eventually, the grass will grow up over it. The lawnmower doesn't go down far enough to catch this. And then when the time is right, and that'll probably be my next project after this video, is I will go ahead and run drip off of this existing one now in order to get drip to these other two pots. All right. Now I could just put an emitter on this and call it a day on that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off the excess. I'm going to put a straight line barb on the end of it. That. Then I'm going to take my 1/4 inch tubing, which has emitters every 6 inches. And I think I'm going to go with 4 emitters. So I'm going to cut the tube after the 4th emitter. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I do need to plug up the end of this tube or the water will just shoot out. So I've got my plug right here. And there we go. Now we're ready to fill with soil. Once everything's planted, I can pin this in just like this, and it will get drip every time the back drip lines run. Okay, several of y'all have been saying that I should plant star jasmine for a while. So I picked up this beautiful star jasmine at that new nursery that I toured called Green Acres, and the price was really good. It was $24.50 for this size. I chose this particular one because it had lots of long kind of legs on it that could be wrapped up the orb. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add potting soil and I'm going to get this guy planted. I'm also going to add plant tone into this so it has some really good fertilizer. Once it's in some place, we'll work the orb over the top of it and then start training the vines to go up it. Pushing this down just a little bit because there is going to be some settling, so I want to help out with the settling a little bit so that my plant doesn't sink too far after I've got it planted. Okay, grab the plant tone. So I think star jasmine can take our sun. It doesn't take an excessive amount of water. Even during the hottest part of the year, it will get a little shade from this maple tree right here, which will be helpful. So I put in some of the plant tone. Then I'm going to just come through. Woo! Pull that up. Get that into place. I'm just trying to center it is all I'm doing. Now once I have this all settled, I will water it and rinse all this loose soil off. Okay, that looks great. Okay, so I'm going to use a stake and stake my drip line in place, just like that. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to very carefully work some of the vines up through the middle part of the orb. Now this will probably give me a little bit of damage on the vines, but I think it'll be all right. Once it gets settled, it has plenty of time to recuperate over time. All right, then I'm going to situate this in place. And I've got 3 more landscape staples that I'm going to use to pin down the orb to help hold it in place. And then finally, I have some green twine. I'm just going to cut myself a piece at a time. And I'm going to take a vine, one of the branches, and I'm just going to wrap and then secure it. I think I could probably get away with not tying it, but I'm going to go ahead and do that for now. Makes me feel a little bit better if we have some strong winds coming through. It looks like this star of jasmine has some like sap, white sticky sap. I've never used star jasmine in my garden before. I have no idea if it's useful as a cut flower or not, but we will certainly experiment with it. All right, I'm pretty obsessed with it. It's giving me Alice in Wonderland vibes. Love it. And so actually my next project is I'm going to be planting of these two and then the other two that are in the other grouping. Just want to dig the vines in and talk about them a little bit before I got onto the rest of the pots. Okay, star jasmine is hardy in zones 8 to 10. It actually says that in zone 8, that's my zone, I'm zone 8A, that it should be planted in a pot so that it can be brought under cover if needed. That's good to know. I will say though, I do feel like I can cover this if we have any crazy ridiculous freezes, but it is really pretty, and even if like it doesn't make it past a couple of years, that's totally fine. It grows about 3 to 6 feet tall. It's great for vining, but it's also really good for ground cover. So if you're looking for a unique, interesting ground cover, this might be really well for you. It can take full sun to part shade. It does produce a lot of little tiny white flowers, and I'll put a picture of those up so you can see what they look like. But I'm really excited to see this one get going. So let's talk about our next vine. Okay, for this next pot, which is right here, you can see the second grouping of 3. Let me show you it in relation to the first grouping. It's the first grouping. Look how much dimension that already adds. So this is my next grouping of 3 right here on the corner of this bed. Now eventually I'm going to be laying some rock because I do have some drainage issues over here. Now I could run a line all the way back here. You can see the black tubing going all the way across, but I have existing drip line right here. So I'm literally just going to run it right off of there into the pot. Yes, you're going to be able to see the tube. No, that doesn't bother me. Yes, I know it bothers other gardeners. No, I'm still going to do it. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to cut this open. So I'm going to separate that into 2. Then I'm going to use a 3-prong barb. So we'll have one go in one side, one go in the other side, and then we have one going up. That'll connect to the new tubing. We'll run the black solid tubing up to the pot, and then we'll use a straight line barb to connect some more of the emitters, just like what we did on the other side. So let's go ahead and get that knocked out. Okay, since this is not going up through the hole, I'm just going to leave it to the side. There is a hole just like on the other one. Let's go ahead and get some soil added into that, and then we'll talk about our vine. Okay, so the vine we're bringing in is a Bougainvillea. This Bougainvillea is called Blueberry Ice. It's from Lone Star Growers, which is Texas grown for Texas gardeners, so it's good for our area. It grows to about 8 feet tall. Obviously, I'll be trimming it. It takes full sun, and it's hardy to 30 degrees, so it's not actually hardy in my particular area. This is more of an annual situation. I can try to overwinter it if I have a greenhouse set up by then or something like that. We'll see. It really depends on how busy I am in the winter, whether or not I decide to overwinter stuff. But I love the color. I thought it was just so pretty. I'm obsessed with variegated leaves, and I thought, why not? I don't do a lot of Bougainvillea, so I thought, why not? This might be a really beautiful burst of color. Let's give it a try. I'm going to add some plant tone, and we'll get this planted up, and then we'll go through the same process with the sphere that we were doing earlier and get all these kind of tendrils wrapping up it. All right, that looks good. I was going to put the small one on here, but since this gets 8 feet tall, should I do the big one? Let me show you the big one. It's big. I kind of want to do the big one. I know it's ridiculous, but I don't care. I think it's so fun. Okay, we're going to do the big one. I'm excited. Okay. So let me look at working some of these branches in. All right, you guys, I'm breaking a ton of pieces. So here's what I'm thinking. I think I'm just going to put it in like this and allow the branches to kind of work themselves around, and start with this. And once they get longer, then I will come back and train them. Okay, so I know this looks weird. I'm actually going to put a brick in here because I'm having a hard time feeling pretty secure about the orb rocking back and forth. So I'm just going to lay a brick in there for now until more vines wrap up, and then we'll remove it later on. Yeah, I really like this. I'm going to move the tag to the back so it's not like, you know, a main feature. I think this looks really nice. I think it's going to be fun to watch this grow and fill in. And like I said, I don't do a lot of Bougainvilleas, so I think this will be nice. This is driving me crazy. I can't have this in here. Okay, we'll go with that. Okay, next we're going to plant some hyacinth beans. Okay, we're going to plant the hyacinth beans in this center trough. There's 5 across the back, so we're going to plant in number 3 right in the center. I have planted this to the side before. Basically, I'm going to put 2 seeds on each side, and that's pretty much it. This is a very heat tolerant, drought tolerant bloom. It can take our vine. It can take full sun. I'll put some pictures up of what mine looked like last year. This clematis is gorgeous, but it's all purple vines, and I think it'll be absolutely beautiful. This is very simple to do. Okay, so I am going to clear some of the mulch because I don't want the vines to have to work through the mulch all that much. And I'm just going to, this is what they look like. They're very cool seeds. And it produces a lot of bean pods, so you can actually harvest that. So I'm going to put those in on this side and on the other side, and we'll water them in. We'll be good to go. And I'm leaving the mulch pushed back. you do want to make sure you water these regularly until they have sprouted. I have drip lines in here that keeps this bed pretty moist too. You can always pre-soak these too, that works well. I should have told you a little bit more about the hyacinth bean. It is a annual, so it will not overwinter in my particular areas. I'll drop the stats below. I think I have some of them on here. Let's see. It is tender perennial in zones 9 through 10. It takes full sun, likes lots of warmth. It does have 110 to 120 days to bloom. So this is not going to bloom till end of the summer, but that's okay. It'll be really fun to watch the vines. As soon as you get a frost, it's out. But anyway, so we got the star jasmine, the bougainvillea, and the hyacinth bean. Really excited about these. Getting some vines into my garden, which is part of the whimsy and kind of interesting Alice in Wonderland look that I'm kind of more interested in. And certainly the orbs make that kind of look work as well. All right, you all, hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when my latest videos are up. And make sure you check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.